Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon to those where it's afternoon. Happy Friday. So it looks like we've got a new Fed guy, and he doesn't have gray hair. Huh. Hey, Kev, what's going on? Jam. Hope you got some sleep, brother. What's up, Hex? Oh, boy. Hey, S-Pill. Charles in charge. How are you? Oh, man. I'm so happy this week is over. Whew. There's some drama this month. It's funny. One of our guys, one of our guys in the room, smart guy, like really sharp dude, works in venture capital. He messages me and he's like, I don't know if it's because I haven't slept. This thing's trading like a penny stock. I'm going to bed. And it's true. It's a little penny stockish out there. You know, the shake and bake seems to be the operative trade these days. Shake them out, get the cheap inventory, run it up, sell into it. You know, seems to be a lot of that going on, right? But, that's why they call it a market. It's commerce. What's up, Ed? Cash flow. Welcome to the folks joining us on YouTube. Thanks for being with us. I'm JJ, otherwise known as vwaptrader1 as on X. And this is tradingsyndicate.org, where our mission is to help retail traders make money. What's up, Raj Harris? So, and I don't usually do this, but I put out on Twitter, I said, look, if you learn that 5-minute, 1-minute candle using the look below and fail, I tell you, it works on big time frames too. You know, larger trader getting long here, 69.30, 23 and 3/4 stop. You buy 20 to 100 contracts here, and then you just sell them into that rotation up. Say you bought 100, you put out 10 at every 3 points, 4 points. As the market goes up, it takes you out. That's how people make 50, 100 grand in a day. The trade is simple. The management of the trade is not simple. That's why we learn how to do it using a 1-minute candle chart. And then, like Evel Knievel didn't jump the fountains in Vegas. That wasn't the first time he jumped a motorcycle. He started jumping his bicycle and then worked his way up to a motorcycle. So I know everybody wants to make 100 grand in a day trading, but we got to first learn how to make 50, not grand, $50, right? You guys have to learn how to make money, right? And don't poo-poo $50. You don't take it, I will. Learn how to make small amounts of money. I put a video out in our room about, because when I started this business, I didn't trade candle wax charts. I just traded market profile. And then I learned the use of candles. But candles, you don't have to memorize patterns or worry about wicks and Twix and Wix and all that nonsense. All you got to do is look for the seller. So in the trading room, right, I have posted a video that I did this morning. I hope you guys watch it. And what I'm doing there is I'm showing you how to intelligently look at a chart so you can actually use it to make money instead of coming up with all sorts of crazy pie in the sky ideas. Right? The chart is just a representation of the business transactions, and that's what we want you to do. We want you to become a master of the business. Right? It's pretty simple stuff. I thought I'd put it into a candle because I saw that short covering candle. Right? Learn those little discrepancies, those little subtleties. They'll help you. They'll actually help you make money. Right? Yeah, exactly, Ed. Exactly. We want you to keep the money you make because, even though people tell you that trading is easy, it's not. And you guys discover that very quickly and you're like, holy shit, this is hard. Excuse my language. Right? So by the time you start making money, you should appreciate how difficult it was for you to make it. So respect it and don't give it back. Right? We're like those pirates in those cheesy Johnny Depp movies, right? He is, however, funny, right? Take what you can and give nothing back. That is our motto in this room, okay? We take what the market gives us. Thank you very much. We'll be back, right? Like they say in Harold and Kumar, thank you, come again. All right. So, I'm thinking rotation for the last day, right? We seem to be in this 29, 60, 69, 24, 69, 63. We rotated down, rotated up. But my friends, one thing though, before I get ahead of myself, overnight inventory is still, I'd say about 98% short. Because I'd say 98%, maybe 95% of all the traded volume is under yesterday's close. Remember we high closed yesterday, right? We had a nice margin robbery. We sold all the poor bastards out under 23. And then we trapped everybody short under 20. Rammed the thing up and closed it at 69.90. Right? And then backfilled the market at night so all the wholesalers could cover before month end. Right? Today's market maker month end, wholesaler month end. And those cats they need to make sure their books are nice and happy looking. Right? Because if your books don't look good, you don't get paid. Right? That's something people don't know about the brokerage industry. When you're offside going into the end of the month, you don't get a paycheck. So it's that's why month end is kind of important. Right? They don't pay you, oh you're a good guy just because you're offside tonight. Yeah, we'll put 50 grand in your account overnight. No, that's not how it works. Right? What's up, I am listening? Yeah. Exactly, S-Pill. So let's see. I'm looking for rotation back and forth in this zone. If we get back up over 64, we'll use the upper stops to tell us what to expect. And speaking of stops, let me go clean up my chart here. No such thing as stupid questions when it comes to your money, Herbie. Well, when you first start trading, right? If you don't make any money a day, try and make 50, 100. How about let's go 50 to 100, right? Because what that does is that teaches you to keep the money that you made. And generally when you're up, most retail traders make a little bit and then they give it all back. You see? What we're trying to do is get you to make it and walk away. Don't worry, there will be time for you to push it and make more and work your edge and all of that stuff. All that good stuff people talk about in books, right? Like when you have an edge, you've got to press it. Well, when you first start trading and you're not consistently profitable, you don't have an edge, nor do you know how the hell to press it. So take the 50, 60, and just then stop for a little while and watch, right? That's what we want you to do. Because when you first start trading, now I'm not sure what your range of experience is, so I don't want to talk down to you, but if you're just starting out, $50 a day, right, is better than losing 300 a day, right? That's all we're trying to do, right? Take that money and just chill out and then wait for your next setup, right? In this market, I was talking to somebody earlier, the setup for the newer traders, right, is tougher here because there's a trade here, there's a look below and fail here, look below and fail, look below and fail, look below and fail, look below and fail. Up here is tough. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There are 6 beginner trades from 7:42 to 2 o'clock. So that means you don't have to stop trading because the market will show you that you're not supposed to be trading. Right? It is a poor high. Let me double check. I think it's a poor high. Right? No, it's not. I was zoomed out, so but there's 3 ticks of excess there, Raj. 1, 2, 3. But there's sellers up there anyway. So it's going to be an inside day, most probably, right? Yesterday's range was massive. What, 70.20 down to 6,900? Big, big, goofy range. A lot of back and forth. Hmm. Oh, it's an ugly month end for crypto, boy, I tell you. Jesus, MSTR is under 147. I don't like that stock. Something about that thing that gives me the willies. Apple 259, we got sellers at 261. Nvidia, it's in its box. It's not doing anything. Microsoft, watch 433.64. That's where the cost basis is. Hey, Moran, how are you doing? Goldman just trucking along at 953. Tesla 421. See how the boys at Uranium are doing. 17 bid. Nice, nice, nice. Gold 464 and silver. Taking a little steam out of the market there. Whoop, rats. Alrighty. Well, let's see what happens today. I'm seeing on, like I said on the video I did for you guys, I'll post it on Twitter after the session. But we want to really try and understand what the candles are telling us. It's not patterns or anything. It actually has to do with the business, right? So, you know, if you look at these candles, check it out. There's a nice bid. There's a nice bid. There's the bid. The bid moves up. Look at the lows of these candles, right? That's what keeps you from shorting. And also you'll see the offer moving up and the bid following it. Hmm. All right. Okay, we've got a seller under 65. That's good. Now let's see where the bid is, right? There's a look above and fail of 65 3/4. You can see the seller has moved down. The next candle opens, watch 64, right? If the market cannot offer above a level, then you know that there are sellers there and they're competing. See how it looked above 64 and came back in? If it keeps looking above and that red line starts moving higher, right? If it starts moving higher and higher and higher, then you know that the sellers have seen buyers and they're raising price. So say you're short at 64 and a half, 65, right? And your stop is here, okay? And you see the sellers, they move down. You're watching the top of that candle. Watch. See, this is a map of the city, and then this is the map of the neighborhood we are in. It's telling you what the business is there. See how the sellers are here? You guys see this? Next candle is going to open in 18 seconds. So if you were short up here, you could stay short. Now, where do you expect to put you put a buy order here before this level. You front run it. Because if you put your buy order here and it doesn't get executed, and that offer starts to lift, then you're in trouble. Right? It's this way you can manage your trade intelligently. Watch to see where the top of this candle goes. The top of the candle is where that seller is going to initiate and others will follow. Price will move lower. But there seems to be a little bit of a bid here at 62 3/4. So if you had a half bid and it just gets filled now, okay, great. Your other bids underneath, if you're short more than one contract, they're not getting filled. So when you see this move back up, you have the option to quickly cover and get out. Or you could stay in the trade, and if it takes out 64 and a half like it is now, you're just giving up profits for no reason. I'd take the 6 ticks because at least it pays your commission. There's an example of how when you're in a short and the offer starts moving up against you, you use your buy orders when you're short to tell you if that trade is working. If your buy orders do not get executed, then it means the trade is not working, and now you can get out of the trade before you lose all your money. Right? Common sense. Right? Common sense trading. Make a little bit of money. Don't be afraid to go, you know what, this isn't working. I'm short 65. My 62 and a half bid got filled, but my 62 and a quarter and my 62 bid didn't get filled. So I'm just going to close this now because I see the offer moving higher. Now, if you've got a bigger account, right, and if you think, okay, I'm my stop is 65 and a half, 67, right, and I'll stay short, right, and maybe I'll add to it a little bit, right, but then I got to use these as a warning level, right? What's up, John Madden of the charts? I'll take it. One of the greatest football coaches in the history of the world. I'll take it. I do like the chalk talk. We got a blitzing linebacker. Boom. I miss John Madden. See that? See how that bids there again? It's annoying, right? It's like a fly at a picnic. Now let's see if we could fill. If you had a 62 and a half bid and you stayed short, then you could probably pull a couple of more ticks. Now if we break that, I'm looking down here. I don't know what bids are down here, but there are some. And that's how we trade tactically. Now, if it starts getting too choppy, just leave it alone, right? Always remember, as Dollar Bill says, what is your level of certainty, right? Are you uncertain? Then you maybe cut your risk, right? It's not a bad idea to keep your risk, especially last trading day of the month, right? You always want to keep the money that you made this month, right? Let's not give it back, right? That means you worked all month for free, right? I don't like working for free. I know. A lot of people, will go, JJ, why don't you do everything for free? Well, because I'm still working. What if somebody came to your job at McDonald's and said, yeah, man, why don't you do this for free? uh, you guys awake? Gee whiz. Just checking. Sometimes I feel like I'm talking to myself. I was gonna check in with you guys. I know it's Friday. You've had a difficult week. Right. I get it. Drink some coffee and wake up. Wake up, wake up. Right. Good stuff, S-Bill. Got to get you guys some Cuban coffee. A little rocket fuel. Alrighty. Yeah, I've tried that about 10 times, Kevin. In theory, it works. Now I'm just down to 1 cup a day. Yeah, so we're in a bit of a chop fest here. Let's see what kind of order flow we get off the open. I have no idea what to expect. All I know is inventory is short. I'm seeing bids at 61. And I'm seeing sellers at 64 and 3/4. So, a bit of a mixed bag of nuts. If it is really choppy off the open, just be prepared, chill out, sit back, let it open up. Right. It's a long day. That's okay. Dave, what time is it in Australia? And you just came home for the pub, so you had a few cold ones. It's like 1 in the morning there. Oh, 12:30 for you. I always look at the time in Sydney. Okay, let's go open this puppy up. See what they got in the tickle trunk. Get to work. Where did I put it? Control is right here. So we are opening in cost basis. No, I don't look at the puck. I'm just looking at the cost basis box, usually after a liquidation down. Sometimes I'll use a distribution cost basis redcom. Sometimes I'll use a distribution. If we're up all night going sideways, I can use that distribution. Distribution or accumulation, it's still the same product, right? And it'll work because here's the cool thing. The business is always the same and the product we're selling is always the same. So whether you use a distribution cost basis or an accumulation cost basis, it's the same because in the morning we're selling contracts, in the afternoon we're selling contracts. The same contracts. Oh, there we go. Okay, there's inventory short. I told you inventory was short. Oh boy, oh boy. Right? Inventory is short. Right? The position is now underneath us, my friends. The position is underneath us. I want you to go take a look at the 5-minute candle wax chart. I've logged 73 on 2 contracts, and I'm selling them up here at 78. And I'm out the next one at 79. Not a bad little trade. Not a bad little trade. Whoops. $69.83 is a level I've been watching. Let's see if we get over that. Oh, no. Backfill. Time to backfill. Nice opening move. Let's see where we find the bid. I'm thinking maybe 66, 67. No, maybe 66, 65. Big candles both ways, ladies and gentlemen. Big candles, big candles. Wait for it. Yeah, there we go. We're going to come back down and come back down to cost basis overnight right here. Right? So if it doesn't hold the open, if we don't get back up over 65, oh, it looks like we're getting back up. You go long again if it stays over 66. Just give it some time. Take your time. Let the market find the bid. Nice and easy. Long 68, selling 71. Flat. right? Look below and fail. Simple trade. Couple of points here, a couple of points there, it adds up. So what I'm doing is they found the bid here and here before. So once you find the bid, you just work off the bid, and when it does the look below and fail, you go long. Right? It's not rocket science, right? There's some sellers up here at 73. So if you buy 65, 66, 67, sell 72, 73. Take some money, right? Look below and fail of VWAP can be a nice trade, especially when it's nice and flat the way it is this morning, S-Pill. When that VWAP line starts getting wonky, then it's a pain in the butt, right? When the VWAP line does this or this. But when it's nice and straight, beautiful, right? Right? If you're long, you're looking for sellers somewhere around 76. Let's see if they'll let you pass. Ooh, they do. Yeah, nice rotations, right, Ed? It's like playing ping pong, just back and forth, like those cats at Wimbledon. Knock it back and forth a few times. Drink some of that fizzy, weird champagne that they drink. They like champagne over here. I see a lot of people drinking champagne. It's kind of funny. So, folks, the natural target is the close of yesterday, just so you know. Right? That's inventory correction. Rotation between value area high and value. I used to love those trades back 10 years ago, Ed. You buy value area low and just cruise all the way to value area high. And then short value area low, high all the way back down to value area low. Top of cost basis down to the bottom. Bottom back to top. That was nice. Now that range is huge. So we take chunks of those trades now. Because, back in those days, 50, 60 points was a big day. This market we've seen 500 point days. So little, you got to use a little bit more risk management these days. Make it worth our while. The vacuum cleaner trade. Yeah, exactly. Right? It's blue collar. It's like we're selling vacuum cleaners door to door. Actually, I had a buddy of mine who made a lot of money doing that. Couldn't believe it. All right, 69.83 at a quarter. Boom, to the tick. This new contract is working nicely with these levels. Well, it's not really new anymore. It's a month and a half old. We're only 7 minutes in. Feels like longer. Let's see if we creep up over this. If we could clear 85, you're going to be looking for the close. But there is a seller. We looked above in 83 quarter and came back down. And that's okay. Right? Sellers have to sell too. Right? It's good. It's a nice two-sided market. Let's see where the bid is next time. I'm thinking maybe 69. Let's see. When it does stuff like this, when it's not near an edge, I'm not interested. Right? Now, some people will try and buy the bottom of the wick and sell the top. That's like, okay, if you're fast enough, that's great. But if you're not, maybe don't push it. You know? Finding bids again. We take the top of A, it's going to take some stops, right? It'll blow out some stops. People who are short are using like 84 as their stop, so just be aware of that, folks. This is a little distribution rotation right here. Right, we're taking this, we're selling it here. We put it on sale, it brought in buyers. Right? It's the same thing. You folks will notice that I keep saying the same thing over and over again because the business really never changes. It's always the same. Right? The business doesn't change. Okay. Let's see if we can tickle the 64, 84 quarter. Haven't tagged it yet. See? I'm just saying that there's going to be, we took some stops, but they're selling into it here. Now watch. Let's see. Can we offer over that level and print? They're at the level, right? Printed and they sold into it. You see? See how they sell into it? That's what gets breakout traders. It's hard to take a breakout because in a choppy market they will sell into the breakout because that's where all the buying is. Right? The shorts are covering. There we go. Right? And then they sell into it. You see how they sell into it again? Right? That's why we like to be long position and sell here where everybody else is selling. He's selling on the way up. Right? That's how we like to trade. We don't like to buy a breakout. A breakout, that's for tire biters. They're chasing price. Right? We're selling in where they're buying, we're selling into them. They're creating the buying. So the size sellers can sell. They rip that stop, that causes short covering. The tire biters think it's a breakout and they jump in. When they jump in, we just boom, that's when you shank them. Right? So if you got size to sell, when the market breaks or takes out a stop, that's when you sit there and you dump your position into that buying like a dump truck unloading gravel. Right? You just open up, lift the thing, and just dump all your contracts into that buying. Right? Because if you're long, like if you're a wholesaler and you're long 500 contracts between 77 and 80, maybe 1,000, you got the opportunity to dump it all between 82 and 84. Right? So who wouldn't take that money? They'd be stupid not to, because everybody else is. So you got to take those customers while you can. Right? You don't turn away a customer, right? We will not be undersold. That is the battle cry of the wholesale trader. Right? I will not be undersold. You tell me a price, I'll beat it. This guy's offering it to you for $5, $4.50, my friend. Sold. Sold, 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 sold. Right? See, look how they're selling at 83. Right? And that's why you watch the top of those candles. You can see it on market profile, but if you're not used to watching market profile, it'll give you a bit of a headache. Most people are used to candle wax charts, right? So all you got to do is look at the top of those candles. The next candle is going to open. And if the next candle opens under 80 and 3/4, then you know we're having a little bit of a discount, right? Attention Walmart shoppers, for the next 2 minutes, right? Hormel chili will be on sale. Get them while they're hot, right? Look at that. Seller, seller, seller. Beautiful. Looking for bids at 73. Looking for bids at 73 if you're short. I'd put a 75 lookout bid. Maybe 75 at a quarter, right? I always sacrifice one of my contracts as a lookout bid. If that bid gets filled, okay, I could stay short. If that bid doesn't get filled, or if it gets filled and it bounces, uh-oh, uh-oh, SpaghettiOs, right? Might have to do some covering. Right? Use your orders to let you know how your trade is going. Right? You know, there's good greedy and stupid greedy in trading. Right? Be good greedy. Right? See, if you had those bids in, you would have gotten filled. Right? Always make sure you get paid, especially on a Friday, especially the last day of the month. Right? Get paid, get paid, get paid. You know, you're not here for the dental plan. Because, surprise, we don't have one. You know? A lot. My entries are always based on how far away the stop is and how big the zone is. It's a good question, Herbie. That's exactly what my entries are based on. And that's why I prefer to trade from one color edge into another and back up. If I'm shorting, this is not a bad short because you can see, you can obviously the seller moving down, right? So on a short like this is the back end of the move. So I'd be probably shorting probably under 80, using 82 as my stop, and then putting my bids down here and covering, right? And I'm looking to make, on a larger zone like this, I'd like to make 3 to 4 points on 5 to 10 contracts, right? And that satisfies that business condition. And that's a very low risk transaction. Because if you're short, say I'm short at 80 or 79, and the market climbs up over 80 and 3/4, I'm cutting contracts, man. Right? I'm reducing my risk with size. And I'm doing it in an account that can afford the business expense, right? Because some accounts can afford bigger business expenses than others, right? So if you're trading a $2,000 account, it's harder to trade like that. That's why we teach you how to do it on micros, or use a prop account. So you learn how to do it. You learn the discipline, and you learn the execution. You learn the mechanics of the execution. You got to do that. Now let's see what happens at 65 and 3/4. So we took our inventory, we went and sold it, we ran out of buyers, right? The market opened up, right? They were pressing up against the door. They came in, we sold it to them. Now we're going to come back to this cost basis, and if that breaks under VWAP, you're looking for here. See, I was looking for a look below at fail of 65 and 3/4. I didn't get it. Had I been on the ball, I would have been buying 70 with my stop here, but I missed it. Look at the rotation. So had you been buying here, right, on the fail to look below, your stop's under the bottom of that red candle. I'd say if you were logged 71, I would have been out at 75 by now. I love this kind of this kind of market because you can make a couple of points quick and then chill. Exactly, Torque. Sorry, I'm still coughing up some stuff. Excuse me. Be right back. Sorry, folks. Just the last stages of this flu. Yeah, that's exactly what it is, Torque. Selling into a breakout is selling into the strength. The strength is created. This is beautiful, right? Because you can appreciate torque, right? And leverage, right? When you take out an upper stop, that triggers buy orders. It's like lighting the fuse. Those buy orders start popping off like firecrackers, right? And then breakout traders get drawn to that. They get drawn to that, right? Like when you throw bread and pigeons and seagulls come, right? They get drawn to it. They get drawn to that breakout and they all start buying. Right now you've created a whole bunch of new buyers by running an upper stop. Boom, and then that's when you slam them. It's a beautiful thing, right? That's what we're trained to do. We are trained to sell into strength, right? And then buy when the sell orders are done. My pleasure. And as you can see, you kind of get the sense that I miss doing it. You caught a break at the start of the market. Nice work. Nice work. It's Friday. Everybody should make a little bit of money and then go to the pub. Seller at 81. This, my friends, is a rotation. This might be the rotation for the morning. That'd be cool, right? Say we just have a little rotation like this, then we could just trade this back and forth. That would be nice. It was a good month end. They marked the market up, and they closed it on month end at over. Where did they close it? Yeah, they closed it at 69.90. And then everybody got to cover. Now it's going to just kind of go sideways for a bit. See, how do you see the sellers? Now, say you're short. You go in and you short 78, 77. Your stop's here. Put some buy orders at 74. I'd say 74 half, 74 quarter, 3/4, and see if you get a fill. Hey, Mike. Yeah, you know what? That's why I always recommend people who are new, right? Or even if you're not new, just kind of watch when you're not trading, because when you're not trading, you'll really observe a lot more, right? You'll be like, "Oh, geez, that's what he meant." See, nice little rotation down from 80 to 71. Yeah, when you're trading, you got to be focused on your trade, right? It's hard. It's like walking and chewing gum at the same time. Listen, when I'm retail trading, I have to be 100% focused. I can't mess around, right? Like I'll talk to you guys and I'll scalp a few micros or a few minis, but I'm not trading. I'm not trading any kind of size when I'm on with you guys because I have to concentrate, right? I'm not egotistical enough to, trade size while doing webinars, right? That would be very irresponsible, especially for the people who I'm trading their money. Right? I can make markets, and we can discuss what we're doing after work and on the weekend and stuff. That's not a problem, right? But for me, retail trading requires concentration, and I'm saying that with the most amount of humility I can because retail's hard. You can't cheat. You can't cheat in retail trading, unfortunately. If there was a way to cheat, I would have found it, right? I would have found it, and I told you guys to take a nap. It's like Morty Seinfeld when he was running for president of Del Boca Vista. Well, first we're going to do this. Well, first I have to take a nap. This is a good rotation. That's another good question, Torque, right? So if I'm looking at this rotation, what I want to do is first when I see it, I want to test it, right? I want to test it. So I see that there's one, but I just don't want to go in there and just start trading it right away. So let me put a box around it and see if it holds. And if it doesn't, no big deal, right? But if it holds, then I know, okay, right? I can trade it. And with these rotations, right, especially on a Friday, especially because it's the last day of the month, blah, 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 right? I want to test that rotation. I want to let it come down underneath the bottom of that box and then pop back up. Otherwise, it's like that guy at the bottom of the Empire State Building selling Molexes, not Rolexes. You know what I mean? Psst, do you want to buy a watch? Right? I'm not quite yet on it. Right? If I miss this big green candle, who cares? Right? No problem. No problem. On Fridays, I have a moral sort of thing not to lose money. So I'll just kind of chill, wait. If I miss a trade, who cares? There's going to be another one, right? Never chase trades, right? It's not like they're going to take your computer away if you miss this trade, right? It's not a big deal. Now, if you miss trades because you're being lazy, of course, that's a different story. But when you're just trying to figure out what's going on in the market, don't worry about it. Just relax. Yeah, capital preservation, right? Two of the sweetest words I've ever heard in my life. Right? Capital preservation, baby. Right? The sweet sounds of capital preservation and risk management. Right? That is a sexy tune in my book. Right? That sounds like a band. I'm capital preservation, and this is my band, the Risk Managers. Right? Groove with your inner laziness on a Friday. Make the trades really, really, really show you that they're worth taking. Nightmare. Yeah. That is a common problem, Mike. That's a common problem. But if you start understanding the business reasons for you taking a trade, that's going to help with that. I promise that will help because then you won't be frustrated. Also, once you learn not to force trades, it'll be it'll be a lot easier on you. The thing is, you got to kind of chill into it, right? Some days, like if say we're fishermen, we go fishing. I remember my buddies were commercial fishermen. They'd go fishing off the coast of Vancouver Island. Sometimes they have bad bad sets. They wouldn't catch anything. I had one buddy of mine, and he was the cook on a fishing boat. The first fishing boat he was on sunk. The second fishing boat he was on, he got hit by a trawler, and nobody would give him a job after that. They thought he was bad luck, right? So it happens, right? Sometimes business is crappy, right? So let's see if the next candle holds inside that box, we're going to rotate up. But we're going to rotate up to like 69, 70, right? Watch. So you see how it's come back down there? So it's very easy to go too quick. See, look, there's the seller right there, dirty rotten bastard. There you are. See the seller's right there where I would have gotten long, right? Got to clean them out. Got to get back in the box before I go long. Otherwise, I'm not interested. See? Okay, now I'm kind of interested, but no, prove it to me. Prove it to me. Prove to me that you are worth me going long at 68, 69. Right now, you're not doing a good job of it. That's better. Yeah, but you're weak, right? There's a seller at 68. There you go. Right? There's some bids down here. Let's let them clean this up. Now you're talking. Right? Now you're talking. You're long 68, selling 70 on 2. Right? Yeah, I got 69 and 3/4. No, 69 and a half for the last one. Right? If you're buying this box, right? We're in the box. We are going to rotate up. There's going to be sellers at 73. The next seller is going to be here. Right? So make sure you sell before everybody else takes your client. Long 72, selling 74, 73 3/4, right? Take them. Sell them like you stole them, my friends. Sell them like you stole them, right? I won't lose money. Exactly. See, that's why you sell it into strength. because it's going to come right back because I told you there's going to be sellers up here. So even that 72 trade that I took late, right, out into the 74, I'll take 2 points. Ain't too proud to beg, right? Now let's see if those bids are still here. Little position, right? If we break that, right, when do you want to short? I know everybody wants to short it. You don't want to short until we get under VWAP and accept under 61. That's and then you can short it down to like 54, right? And then 50. But till then, be careful because it's bid 64.5. You can see it. It's as plain as the nose on your face because that's the position before the move. Overnight POC is right there at 63. Same trade. Same trade. I'll wait for the next candle though. So don't jump at the first thing you see. Don't swing at the first pitch they throw across the plate. Okay? I know it's winter and I'm using baseball references, but don't you guys have spring camp starting soon? Yeah. Now just chill. Right? See how it's kind of bouncing around between 64 and 68, 66? Just let it. Right? That's the next business part to work on, Mike 4132, the business part. The mental will take care of itself if you understand the business, brother. If you understand the business, the mental will be a lot easier because you're not stressing yourself out because you don't understand the business. Once you understand the business, it's beautiful because then you don't have to worry about being patient. It comes naturally because you're like, oh, these idiots are still not done. They're working out that low. See, we got sellers here. So if you're long, right? Say you go long now, right? And you're in a little early. Well, the bottom of that box, like I bought one at 71, right? When I told you guys to long, and then I was out at 72 and 3/4, right? But I will sell. You show me a bid, I'll fill it. If I got product, it's yours, right? Do not be afraid to hit the sell and take profits. Too many people are trying to hold trades where they don't have the skill to do it. Once you have size in your account and skill, then you can hold trades, right? You can buy 10s and 20s and 50s. But when it's choppy like this, pay yourself. Even really big traders will scalp, right? A lot of really big executing traders will scalp to stay sharp, to put their fingers in the dirt a little bit and see what's going on in that market, right? You got to do it. You got to do it. Oh. Well, oh boy, somebody got short. Woo! That's a bit of a short cover, if I may say so myself. Right to 69.83. Wow. Levels are working nice, folks. Now let's see if this backfill takes us back underneath 78. So now if you want to short, I'd wait for the next candle. And short under 80. If it doesn't go back under 80, don't short it. Right? Because if you know it goes under 80, you know that the sellers are competing. Those you buying back your 2 MES? Well, thank you for the pageantry. We appreciate all your hard work. Month end is a pageant. There we go. There we go. Okay, we got sellers. There you go. I told you to wait till it gets under 80 and hit it. But here's the thing. You got to put bids in, right? Now watch the next candle, right? If the next candle opens under 80 and stays under 80, you're golden, right? If it starts getting over 80 and 3/4, you're dicey. See? There you go. Right? So the sellers are up here. Now they're underneath the box. That's a good sign. But you got to watch the offer. Yeah, it's been a tough month trading and for scalpers especially, right? That's why I'm kind of glad I didn't trade for 2 weeks because I was sick. And this week I've been very, very cautious. Just putting my toe back in, making sure that my execution is right, making sure that I'm disciplined, right? And I won't put money at risk until, I've tested myself, right? I'm always testing myself. And that's not because of a lack of confidence. That's because of common sense. And being in the business 34 years, some days you don't trade well. Some days you just don't trade well. It happens. And instead of going, oh, I make money every day, right? Some days you don't make money, right? Some days in business, that happens, right? So if you want to learn how to do this, ladies and gentlemen, the trading syndicate, this is where we teach you practical trading. And right now, Steve-O's got a deal now for $19, right? A little bit of advertising here. I apologize, but, right? Hey, we're not communists, so hey, right? It's 19 bucks a month. You get the AI trading coach for free, right? And here you will learn how to make money. Like if you were short under 80, buy some back at 77. Take the 3 points, right? Take the 3 points, right? If you're not fast enough, you got to work on it. You got to work on being fast. There's just, you know, you can't, I won't mollycoddle that, right? It's like that movie, the guy is hanging out with a bunch of Vikings. They throw him a sword and he goes, this sword's too heavy. And the guy looks at him and he goes, grow stronger, right? If it's too fast, get faster, right? It's a business. It doesn't wait for anyone, right? You have to trade what you're given. Now, let's see if we can get back up over 88. We're looking for the close, ladies and gentlemen. We're looking for the close. Don't worry. At first, everything seems fast. Everything seems, what the hell's going on? And that's okay, you know? I can't remember what movie that was. It was with the pretty boy, and he was hanging out with Vikings, and the Vikings gave him a sword. And he goes, "This sword's too heavy." The guy looks at him, and he goes, "Get stronger." Quit your whining, right? That's what we got to do. Just dig in. That's the movie, The 13th Warrior. Yeah. Uh, the things we learned from Hollywood, eh, Ronan? Use hotkeys? That's cool. I don't. I haven't used hotkeys since 1997. I don't trade that much that I need to use hotkeys. There's sellers at 88, 86. That's okay. Back in the box. This is rotation, ladies and gentlemen. Now we're looking for the bid. And back up again. That's okay. Now we know where the bid is. The bid is moved up from the 73 area to the 78 area, right? So now you hold on to that information and tuck it away. So you know, say you're taking shorts, you know you should be covering 78, 79. See? Simple. See you, Mike. Have a good one, my friend. Have a wonderful weekend. Bottom of that candle's right at the top of the box. As they say in France, quelle surprise. Right? Bids moving up. They're still selling, right? They're still distributing. So this is why this breakout trade's not working, right? Now you guys understand why you have false breakouts. False breakouts should be the norm, right? When the breakout is so big that there's follow through buying, that's beautiful because then you can just jack up prices. But until then, you got to wait, work that breakout area and sell as much as you can. Now, if you can hold price over 78, 79, right, that's going to bring in some buyers, right? Because people love price stability. Longs like price stability. And the other thing about price stability is short sellers start getting impatient and start covering, right? When the price goes sideways and you're short underneath, and every time it gets down to close to where you want to cover and then it walks away from you, ooh, they get ornery, right? So short sellers will start covering. Like if you're short 74, 75, right? And every time it comes down under 80, it bids and goes back up. You're like, right? And if eventually enough people short it between 80 and 84, then you're going to get a nice big green candle again. But there is inventory to be sold. Remember, yesterday we had a liquidation, right? There's still inventory underneath us, and there's still inventory from last night. It's underneath all 70% of last night's cost basis is underneath 69.74, right? So if you were long size under 74, dear God, it's a gift. Sell it at 82, right? Sell it at 7, you know? Sell it all the way down to 78, 76. Right? You can see it on the market profile chart. It's clear as day. There's your 69.73 and a quarter. And all of your cost basis for the overnight is here. So we're taking this and we're selling it up here for profit. Look at how much volume is here. And then this is outside of value. This is the cheap stuff. That's already gone. Right? So if this was a used car lot, these are your clunkers, right? The best deals. These are your Bentleys, right? So this is how you price inventory, right? It's a sales chart. All right. There you go, Ed. That's a nice clean chart. Easy to follow. Oh, goodness. Goodness, goodness, goodness. Oh, let's see how the world of equities is going. Silver. Nice pullback on silver. That's good. That was needed. Same with gold. It was a good month for all those people. Let's go look at Crabapple. No big change. How were their earnings anyway? Oh, I gotta clean up that Broadcom chart. Oracle, underneath 180 now. Everyone's dumping it. It had a good run. It had a good run. Corning, I gotta clean that chart up. That was a nice trade. Oh, should have been loading the boat at 30 bucks on that thing. Oh well. Bit of chop now, ladies and gentlemen. Look for 76. And then if we break 76, you can look for the bottom end of this. But there's still bids here. They're stubborn. Still stubborn bids here. Kind of choppy. Any questions, folks? No? We'll let you go a little early. Seems like most of you have fallen prey to chop sickness, chop sleepiness. Thank you, everyone, for being with me this week. Appreciate you guys. Have a wonderful weekend. Trade safe out there. Don't give all your money back today, okay? Be sharp, be sharp, be sharp. Thanks to everyone in the room. Have a good weekend. Come see us at Trading Syndicate. And I will see you all on Monday, bright and early, 7:30 in the morning UK time, 2:30 in the morning for my insomniacs in New York. Appreciate you guys. Have a great weekend. Be safe out there. Thanks for being with us this week. Bye for now.